everyone. Welcome back to Novel iDeea. My name is Deea. Today I am going to go over another collection within the collection, and we are going to go over Christmas tree books. I am sipping a cinnamon tea. It is from Celestial Seasonings, and it's just called Cinnamon Bark, and I really like it. All right, so I had plans to get this out much sooner, but we as a family have just kind of been experiencing some loss this season. My husband's mother passed away suddenly, not completely unexpectedly, but very suddenly, and so we've just been kind of trying to deal with that and still, celebrate this season. So anyway, it's just been a little bit different trying to, still stay in the spirit of things and film and all of that. But I really want to share these with you. This is something that really brings me joy. And so I hope that it does for you as well. So without further ado, let's jump in and talk about my collection of Christmas tree books. So the first one, I think I may have shown you last year. I'm not positive if I did or not, but this is Little Tree by E Cummings, and this is E Cummings' poem about this little fir tree, but it is illustrated by Deborah Kogan Ray. And one of the things that I love about this book is that the story begins, this was an old library book if you can't tell, the story begins before the words do. So we have these two children that are coming down some stairs. They're standing outside here. And then you can see them walking, but we still haven't started the story yet. This is just the title page. And they're kind of in a cityscape here. One of the things I love is that it's in this very kind of sepia tone, but the children themselves are little pops of color. And here we are at a Christmas tree lot. And finally, we begin the poem. You guys have to excuse the state of my nails. It's another thing that's kind of gone by the wayside right now. They find their tree, and then they take it home. And this is my favorite picture. The two of them decorating this little tree. And just about how happy the little tree makes them and how they're going to love it. On a little different note, we have Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree, and this is by Robert Barry, and I believe it's illustrated by him too. It's also illustrated by him, and the illustrations are so cute. We have the arrival of Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree, and you can see Mr. Willowby looking out the top window there. But what happens is they get it into the parlor and it's too tall. So the butler is called and he chops off some of the tree and he gives it to the upstairs maid. But it's too small or too tall for the small garret that she lives in. So she chops off some of the tree. And it goes this way all the way down to a mouse. When a mouse finds the tree and they put it in a spool. But this is my favorite part. You see the mice under Mr. Willowby's chair, under the Christmas tree. Sweetest little story. This one's a little longer. This is the Peterkins Christmas, and this is the story of a family that does everything way harder than it needs to be. Every solution to a problem is the most ridiculous solution. And so with their Christmas tree, they find that it's going to be too tall for the parlor, and instead of cutting off part of the tree like Mr. Willowby does, they put a hole into the ceiling, into the attic, into the room of their daughter above. It's just silly and goofy. And the reason why I bought this book, because I actually own the full set of the Peterkins, but this picture book is illustrated by Wendy Halperin and Wendy Anderson Halperin. And she is the illustrator of a set of Cynthia Rylant books that my girls grew up with. And so this book very much reminds me of when my daughter was growing up and we were reading the Cobble Street Cousins. Here's a really good example of Wendy's illustration style. And here's the Peterkins on the back. It's the whole Peterkin family. And then we have another tree that wishes to be a Christmas tree. And instead of being super small, he's very old. And so this is a wish to be a Christmas tree. And I just love this illustration style by Michael Glenn Monroe. It's written by Colleen Monroe. But you can, just the way that he draws it, you can see the sadness, the icicles and the tear. And yet it's still, even his face is just, it's so perfectly put into this tree. So this tree has always wished to be a Christmas tree, but he has all kinds of friends in the forest that he helps to take care of. So the deer and the birds and the squirrels, and they all take harbor in him. They all come together and talk about the fact that their friend's heart is very sad. So one night while he is asleep, just before Christmas, they all come to decorate the tree. And they talk to him about the fact that they would be very sad if he ever left them. And this is what they do. And every year they decide to come together and decorate him from top to bottom, because he is their friend and they want him to be as happy as he has made them. I have one that I'm kind of saving till the end because it's my very favorite. The Fir Tree by Hans Christian Andersen, and this is illustrated by Bernadette Watts. This is one of the saddest stories. Hans Christian Andersen didn't pull punches. Okay, so here we have the title page, and just a beautiful, beautiful illustration style. You see this little girl looking at the fir tree down here, and he has to wait. He sees that all of his friends are being felled and going away to do other things, but he is still too small and he has to wait his turn. And so he just continues to grow, and he has friends that go away to be ships, and friends that go away to become houses, and all these other things. And he thinks that it would be best to be a Christmas tree. And so one year, he's the very first one that is cut down, and he's taken in, and he is decorated, and he makes the children so happy. And then they dress up and tell stories, and he listens to the stories. But of course, at the end of the season, he is put off in a corner to die. And then in the spring, they toss him into the garden, and then eventually chop him up and burn him. And that's the end of the story. I love the illustrations in here, even if it is a very, very sad Christmas story. This one is quite the opposite. It's the same name practically. This is The Little Fir Tree. This is by Margaret Wise Brown, and this is illustrated by Jim Lamarche or Lamarche, I'm not sure. And this is about a little boy who's very sick, and his father goes out into the woods and he finds a tree that is not too big and not too small, and something that can grow and help his son grow also, so they could both grow strong. So instead of cutting it down, he digs it up and wraps it in burlap and carries it home. And then when he gets it there, you can see his little boy and his wife, and he puts it into this bucket, and they have it for Christmas. But then after Christmas, he takes it back to the forest, and he puts it back where he found it, and he allows it to grow. And then when winter comes, he comes and gets it. Same tree. Then the same thing happens again. The little boy watches his father take the tree back to the forest after Christmas, and the tree grows. And then one Christmas, instead of coming to get the tree, they come to the tree, and the little boy is strong and well, and they decorate him and sing. And that is the end of the story. And then finally, last one, this is the Year of the Perfect Christmas Tree. And this is actually based on a true story, and it's written by Gloria Houston, but I got it because it's illustrated by Barbara Cooney, who's probably my very favorite children's book illustrator. A story about a family who live close to a pine grove in the Appalachian Mountains, or Appalachian, depends on what part of the country you're from. So every year, one of the families donates a tree to the church at Christmas time. And this little girl and her father, it's their family's turn this upcoming winter. There is war on the horizon. And so her father takes her to go and pick out a tree, and she wraps a ribbon around the top so that they know which one is the one that they want for the next year. And they take care of it, they get it paid for and everything. And then Papa has to go away to war. She prays every night that her daddy would come home at Christmas time. In the meantime, she is practicing to be the angel in the Christmas play at church. She and her mama at night in the dark go to get her Christmas tree. Her mama has told her that she doesn't know how that she's going to make her angel dress. But on the way back home, this idea starts to percolate in her mother's mind. And then on top of that, she also secretly makes her a doll that looks like her and looks like her in the dress that she's going to be the angel in. So she basically makes her an angel doll. And the way that she does it is she cuts up her wedding dress. And I love these details that Barbara Cooney does, because we hear that it's her wedding dress and we can see, you know, it's kind of lacy and fancy, but you see the picture of her mama and papa in their wedding attire behind her. After the play, Santa Claus comes and gives her the doll that her mom made. And she comes out of church, and look who's waiting. It's her daddy. Every Christmas after that, her angel would sit atop a balsam tree. So, very, very precious book. Absolutely love it. Her illustrations are just magical. Look at the light on her face. It's hard to see with the Christmas tree lights shining off of it, but I just love it. Love it. All right, that is everything for now. I'll be back again with another segment the night before Christmas. That's the next one. So thank you for being patient with me. And I really hope that you all are gathering your loved ones close and enjoying this time that you have together and celebrating this season of love. And I'll see you again very soon in another video.